This is Daf Yerushalmi Orlah. In the article edition on the top of Down and Alf, the Gemara begins 4 lines down on Rabbi Yechanan. In the Vilna, around that base on the base, the Gemara has 12 lines from the bottom on Rabbi Yechanan. But since we're going with the Gra and Leib Yerushalayim, we have to insert the Gemara from yesterday, a couple of lines up on Kimel base in the article as well there, and a few lines up on the base in the Vilna. Another Shalosh Siog. You planted a tree for 3 years for Siog. In the 4th year, you change its designation to a fruit-bearing tree. So Rabbi Yochanan said, Rabbi Shmuel teaches us, Kosh Ein Lo Orlah Ein Lo Vai. Even though it's the 4th year, normally you'd say that the 4th year is Net Ravai or Keren Bavai. Since this tree did not go through 3 years of Orlah, it doesn't have Ravai either. Rabbi Yochanan, boy, Ad She'lo Shalosh Shanim Orlah. Yochanan requires that it have 3 years of Orlah. So Gemara is not clear about this 100%. Rabbi Yochanan said, Ik Orlah Tzricha Le. In Orlah itself, it's a question. Is there such a thing as Orlah for less than 3 years? In other words, the question which we talked about yesterday, the day before, if you change your mind midstream during the 3 years, what's its status? So that itself is a question of Rabbi Yochanan. Does that have Orlah? If you change your mind after a year from Siog to Michael, right? The Ik Orlah Tzricha it could be read as in, not. It could be read as in, if. It's easy to read it as in, even though I'm not sure that's the way to read it, but the import is the same. In Ik Orlah Pachas Mishal Shanim. Is there Ik Orlah of less than 3 years or not? So that the Gemara says no. That's Rabbi Yona's opinion. Rabbi Yosef says Ik Ravai Tzricha Le. No. He's not in terms of Orlah. It's Pasha. There's an Is Orlah even on 1 year. Change from Eitz Ma'achol from Siog to Eitz Ma'achol the 3rd year. It's got Orlah for that 1 year. That's not a question. The question is on Ravai specifically. Kosha Ein Lo Orlah Ein Lo Ravai. Whether the Rabbi Yochanan's assertion is that if name Rabbi Shmuel, if it has no Orlah, it has no Ravai. Okay, so now we could shift gears a bit and go in terms of Meiser. Let's go to Meisers. Tani. Elon Shemiksas and the two Baretz, we learned in the Bible says a tree which is partially planted in Eretz Yisrael. Miksas Chutz is partially planted in Chutz. We came to Miksas and the two Baretz, since part of it is planted in Eretz Yisrael. Kilu, it says. Kilu, it's like it says Kilu Kula Baretz, Divrei Rebbe. As if its entirety is in Eretz Yisrael. This brought down, it's a Meisers Parak base, Tosefta, Parak base, right? So it's brought down the Bavin, Kitin Chab base, and Rav, and Basu Chab Zayin base. So the Rebbe holds it's since part of it is Eretz Yisrael, it's in its entirety is Eretz Yisrael. Shulomir says it's had in a Tua, but all it's Chayiv. The part which is planted in Eretz Yisrael is Chayiv. So Tua b'Chutz it's Potter. The part which is planted in Chutz is Potter. Maybe Avo b'Shen, and according to his understanding, you can kind of like divide the tree in based on where the roots and the foliage are. Rabbi Abba B'Shem Yochanan said, Nasa Ketav. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. That is seems to be what he's saying. Rabbi B'Shem Yochanan says, Nasa Ketav Usar Muravin Zebezeh. It's like that which Rabbi said. It's as if it's completely planted. So it's not that everything is chayv on ma'aser minadin. But since the nourishment of the tree gets mixed up in the trunk, there's no fruit in this tree which is not partially Eretz Yisrael, which is teva, and partially chutz, which is exempt from ma'aser. So, of course, in Afghanistan, you can't ma'aser from teva vadai on this tree because it would be minachiv al ptur, and not from it on teva vadai because it would be from ptur al chiv. Whatever grows in Eretz Yisrael is teva vadai, whatever grows in chutz is potter. The Bavli in the Gittin says it's talking about a case where there's a stone which actually divides between the roots and all the way up to the trunk. So Shlomo says that keeps the nourishment separate. And Rabbi holds no, it gets mixed up again later, higher up in the trunk, above the stone, and therefore it's tevin chulim muravin zeh bezeh. Now that's for Meitzvus. What about Orlah? Rabbi Zira b'Shem Rabbi Yochanan says shoresh poter poter. The fact that there's a root which is exempt in other words, one root is in Chutz La'aretz, where there is Orlah, but only the Rabbanim, or perhaps in Melachim Moshe Sinai. But even if it's Melachim Moshe Sinai, Safek Orlah Chutz La'aretz is Potter. So that root potters the entire tree, at least again from the din of Orlah D'Oraisa, or makes it only Rabbanan, or it makes it that status of Melachim Moshe Sinai, in which case Safek would be Potter. So the Gemara says, "Ma Karebi." Is this specifically going like Rebbe? The Rebbe Omar Shloshim Chaim Zemizeh, who says the roots live from each other, whereas the nourishment gets mixed up again in the trunk. No, Divrei Akoli Hacha Shorish Potter Potter. It's even going like Ramshim Gamliel. The Leib Yerushalmi explains that Shimon holds that since part of the tree is growing in Eretz Yisrael and it has roots in Eretz Yisrael, that part is considered to be Chayav and Meiser, like we said. But in terms of Orlah, since we have a Locha later on, a Locha Gimel, a tree which is uprooted, and it has one, almost completely, but it has one root left in the ground, it's exempt. That a tree which already underwent the years of Orlah. And it got uprooted except for one root. That root retains its status as being part from Orlah since it's already underwent Orlah before. It's not like a tree just completely uprooted, which if it gets rooted again, you have to start from scratch. So that, since there's a chelik which is part from Orlah, so the entire tree is part from Orlah, that's also true in part of it's in Chutz La'aretz. All the tree is exempt from Orlah. So Mora rejects this. Mora says, "Hey, Nitei Masheresh Potter Poter B'Shoresh Yoshon." That would say that a shoresh, a root from the pre-uprooting of the post-Orlah tree, saves it. That's when an old root. Here the Chazanish adds the next word of vav. Visheshehishrish mitoch shelo toshel chaveru. And there's a bikurim also. If somebody takes a runner from field A, runs into field B, the second tree is parted from bikurim because all of the growth has to be from your own ground, and there's a runner going into the other person's ground, so it's really his tree, it's not your tree. Purpose of bikurim. But a tree is partially in Eretz Yisrael, part of a Chutz La'aretz. Love it up. Doesn't apply. You can be chayiv. It's chayiv in bikurim. It is chayiv in bikurim, even though part of it's in Eretz Yisrael. Now the new part is in Chutz La'aretz. Right now, the new part goes to Eretz Yisrael is chayiv in bikurim. Because even when I say shoresh poter is poter, in all cases. So what we learn in our Mishnah, Panimi Lamachol, Vachitzin Siog, the inner part of the tree is for food, and the outer part of the tree is for a fence. And we said, Panimi Chayiv, Vachitzin Potter. We said the inner side is Chayiv and the outer side is Potter. You start seeing outside of Chitzon, outside of Panimi. Well, according to if Shorish Potter is Potter, why do we say that the side of Chitzon exempts the Tzara Pnimi? So it must be that in terms of Shorish Yoshon, we say where it's coming from, it's the vestige of the older tree, then it's still Patas and Orlah. But where it's a Shoresh, not a Shorish Yoshon, it's one of the Shorashim which all came out at the same time. The one that came out Mokum Tur, one that came Mokum Chiyuv, then the one which is Pater does not exempt the Chiyuv. So they came out sequentially, I guess. The Shorish Potter is there first, the Shorish Yosh is there first, then that could Pater. But they came out simultaneously, just this came up to it, this came up Chiyuv, it's not going to Pater. Rabbi Zira Amar Astam, Rabbi Luz said, B'Shem Rabbi Lazar, that here, why is the Shorish Potter not, why is the, why do we not say that once you plant it for siog, that change if you change the machal, it remains potter, Why can Chayiv Orlah? Why is it to be like Shorish Potter? Roy Lachshov Chayiv. He says here it's different because that's the whole point over here. The whole point over here is that since the machshava, the purpose, is significant, so and it could change the quality of the tree even from side to side, like we said before. That means that it can also change the quality of the tree for over time. It's like you have the side, the spatial divide, you have the time divide, and once you decide to change it from the siog to machol, the fact that it was once upon a time siog has no bearing, now it's machol, and then you should, all the shroshim change as well, and therefore can become chayiv orla in the middle of the growth cycle. Here's brings Marsha to the bottom dollar on the base. The top of Hamrav is continues with the shroshim. Idea of shroshim and ben mamish. We'll have, but that's already slightly different. We'll leave that for next time.